And we're live.
Oh, good. I'd have been more energetic.
I'm about to be way less energetic here in just a minute. So
Way less.
yeah,
That seems like the kind of recipe to be more energetic.
maybe
I mean, hmm,
we'll figure that out here
it's all good.
shortly. Yeah.
Anyways, he's Xcalion, I'm Batsam, and welcome to the Speaker Podcast. So happy to have you all back with us
Hello, my friends. How are you?
for episode 12 now. So we've trucking right along. It's been good.
Been an
We've been
adventure.
getting some pretty good juicy twabs recently. This been kind of a little bit lackluster if you're expecting like the big reveals we've gotten the last couple times, but it's not that bad.
Not that bad. It's
So,
yeah.
uh,
I'm
before we get
happy.
started with all this, congratulations to all my Warlock mains out there with myself. We finally done it. We pulled off. We're winning for a week. That's great, guys. We got to keep that momentum going. The Hunters got really close today. We need to step it up.
He keeps saying the
Uh,
word week like it hasn't only been 3 days.
Listen, take what we can get. This is the most wins we've gotten in the last 3 years. To be honest, like yeah, like
Here,
we did.
here.
I think we won once the first time,
The first
then
day.
maybe like two, yeah, and then two times last year. So us holding the lead spot for 3 days is like this is the best we've ever done.
It's all coming to an end very shortly, but
You wish.
it's been an interesting week in the world of Destiny. Some stuff happened in the world, this week regarding some politics and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into all of that. I don't
Right.
care to, don't want to. You guys don't want to hear it. You hear enough of it. But Bungo, they also made a statement behind a tweet from their head guy DMG or whatever. So they kind of touch on that stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I'm not gonna talk about that stuff in this twab at all.
Agreed.
Yeah, I if you want to see it, check out the twab. You can see their statements there. You can see their tweets. But it's not something that I care to share right now. So typically, what I do with the twab is I'll get on, I'll talk about the juicy deets, and all of that jazz, and then I skip around a lot of the stuff that's not really relevant.
Right.
And to me, this doesn't feel as relevant. Say what you will about
Yeah.
it. You can comment about it later. We can have that discussion. That's fine. But
I mean, but the
yeah.
thing with the matter of it all is everyone has their own opinions, their own thoughts, their own whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're here, we're reporting the news. TWAB came out, we're here to talk about TWAB. We're going to tell you exactly what it says, and then we're going to give our opinions about what we think the future will hold for Destiny. Regardless of that, if everything else is based on whatever you want to follow with that. It's like all the stuff that goes on outside of the game, that's everyone's individual personalities, like whatever you guys want to follow on with, however you choose to believe. Okay, it's not our place to sit here and judge you. We're here to talk about a game that we like to play. So
100%. That
no
being
politics.
said, no politics. That being said, I am going to make a video later, maybe tomorrow. The FTC is probing Sony over the Bungie acquisition. They're looking into that because apparently some kind of oversight with the merger. So I'm going to make a video about that maybe tomorrow, kind of go over the details of that because that's news. So
Sure is, yeah.
But yeah, this week at Bungie, we did get the Guardian games. They started up, and as he said before, the Warlock's off to a fast lead, a very fast lead. And for a couple of days there was no competition. It looked like. You go look at it right now, and it is Warlocks and Hunters are awful close.
In a dead heat, yeah.
Yeah, and Titans are not that far behind, but.
But it looks like the Warlocks have been consistent throughout the week, and then the Hunters and Titans get on the weekends to play, or there are other games that they want to play.
Right, right.
But I mean, there also could be some like finagling they did in the background.
There's no telling, but they really this is the third annual Guardian game, so this is the third year in a row, and it's it's pretty cool. They've done some changes this time around that have made it really interesting. Like really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's two separate playlists now. There's one for just like normal stuff, go through, and then there's a more difficult playlist. And doing things, basically you get the bounty. You go and you get, it's not really a bounty, it's a mission, or a quest step or whatever. You go get it from Ava, and then whatever, it's for anything, whatever you want to go do inside the game, you get it and you go do it. Now, of course, harder stuff grants you like gold or platinum tier rewards. But, if you just want to go hop into Gambit, there's one for Gambit, there's one for Vanguard, there's one for Vanguard Ops. There's one for for Trials even. If you just want to get in and play Trials, I think it's a gold tier. So yeah,
all of the core playlists have a gold tier thing.
Yeah,
but I believe Trials, Nightfalls, and Raids are platinums.
Yes,
because those are like the top echelon end game content to do.
And they at first, whenever this went live on Tuesday, there's the new SMG for the Guardian games. And it's called the Title. It's a pretty sleek looking SMG. It's got some okay rolls and stuff like that. 750, so same archetype as the Xcalions SMG and the I can't remember it, the Gambit SMG. Yeah, so it's a 750. The Cold Front, same as the Cold Front. So and it was dropping, but it was only dropping from the quest, the initial quest step in the beginning, which gave you a Grave Robber Vorpal roll, I believe. And that's all that anybody could get. And then Bungie very quickly, I say quickly, it was within a day or so. I think it was the next day.
And they turned the spigot on.
Yeah.
And now your inventory just gets flooded with these things.
I just turned in, I had 5 silver medallions, medals and 4 bronze medals and 1 gold, I think. And I turned them in, and I had just cleaned out my Postmaster, and it dings and it says Postmaster full, and I look and there's friggin' like 6 of them in there. It was crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
considering you're only going to get this gun once a year.
Yeah.
Potentially. Flutter inventories with it. Honestly, there still has yet to be a deciding factor of what a god roll should be. There's some pretty solid rolls, but we haven't been able to see like what all of those rolls look like yet. We actually got a couple of really interesting ones. I would wonder if we could craft this, like maybe in the years to come, because it's coming up as Red Bar. I wonder if maybe in the future we could craft it.
There's that's interesting. I think the initial the plan eventually is to have everything that's in the game be craftable. I would hope so. Otherwise it's just kind of lackluster, and I don't really care for that.
I mean, honestly. If you give it until, next year, players like ourselves who have been playing for this season are going to have a bigger arsenal than other players. Yeah. Why? Well, that's because the seasonal content that gives you said weapons right now from the Cabal are going to go away with that playlist.
Yeah.
There would be no other way to obtain those unless they put them into the loot pool, other than building them. So that would give some exclusivity to unique weapons in that sense, but I mean, I also like the idea of being able to randomly pick them up in the world drops, or being able to target farm them with umbral engrams. There's a lot that they could do with this, so I'm just kind of happy to be along for the ride and just kind of see how that flies out.
For sure. I'll go over a few rolls real quick. Just for you guys, if you're interested, and mind you, we play on controller. We don't really play mouse and keyboard. But I'm not going to... barrels and magazines, you guys, for the most part, know which ones to go with. You can't go wrong with high-caliber ricochet rounds or a pinned or tactical mag. You can't go wrong with arrowhead break or full-bore hammer forged, something like that. But for so far as PvE is considered... it's got some interesting, and I got one that's pretty decent. I got Threat Detector and Surrounded, and I really like that. That plays very well together. And then another big one that plays well together is, of course, Stats for All and One for All. That's a huge one. Seems like they've been doing that. Anything that seems like it's got One for All on it, they put Stats for All in the other column. Seems like those were made for each other. And
Which is a fun little boost.
yeah, for sure. But there's again, threat detector is great. You compare that with other things. That the third column, or the fourth column also has Vorpal Weapon and Swashbuckler. And Turnabout is the new perk that, like, you get extra damage against shields and stuff, for Guardians and things in their supers, stuff like that. But
it's very niche.
Very niche. So far as PvP goes, I think I'm happy. The very first one I got was Perpetual Motion and Moving Target, which again plays very well together. Very stoked to have that. Swashbuckler's great for the fourth column. The second column, you can also get Dynamic Sway Reduction, which is always good. And then, being an SMG, honestly, Threat Detector is really good because you kind of use it within that range. So, some cool stuff there. If you like the Ikelos SMG, if you have a God Roll Ikelos SMG, I've played with both. You're probably going to want to keep running the Ikelos SMG. Honestly, it's
especially considering in 2 weeks we're getting the next season, and it's going to be Arc.
Yeah,
that's going to be meta.
100%. But that's the title. We'll go ahead and jump into this TWAB. It's going on. It's just over 10 minutes now. And again, I'm going to skip over some of this other stuff. But this week at Bungie, 5/5/2022. This week at Bungie, the third annual Guardian Games have begun. Welcome back, sports fans. The Guardian Games have commenced, and Warlocks have taken the lead, but it's still early in this 3-week competition, and it's anyone's game. The tower is looking spiffy with decorations up, and the spirit of competition is in the air. There are adventures to be had and rewards to be won. Are you pumped yet? Well, watch this. And then you have the Guardian Games trailer. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it one more time. That armor looks freaking sweet.
It is. And also, this trailer was really well done.
Yeah, they usually do a good job, but yeah, this one's...
Yeah, but if you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor. It's not even a minute long. It's good.
It's fun.
They basically have Anna Bray speaking out for the Hunter mains,
which is interesting.
As the representative, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's a banner to rally behind.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like a lot of Hunter mains are going to rally behind that all day.
Anna Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I know you're.
Anyways.
Yeah. I know you're an 801 fanboy.
Simmer down there. I am 801 fan.
On top of the overall class versus class main event, we have also assembled a friendly out-of-game competition between fire teams of Guardians from across the globe. We have creators from 14 territories representing their favorite class and competing for glory in the Guardian Games Cup. Check out the full details and keep track of the scoring each week here. And it's just a tab that you can click on to check out more details about that. And now we're going to kind of go over the gifts that are available. Want to commemorate your epic domination during this year's Guardian Games? Then we have some cool opportunities through Bungie Rewards. Whether you are a Team Hunter, Titan, or Warlock, you can celebrate your individual accomplishments during the games with the opportunity to purchase the Guardian Games Tankard. If you light 2 Platinum Torches, anyone who lights 4 Platinum Torches can purchase the Guardian Games Medal, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I already lit one up, so I'm almost there.
I haven't done that. At all. Are you going to get the Tankard? Well, I guess it depends on how much it is.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how much and then how legit it is. Because that is a sick-looking tankard. I just don't know.
Yeah, same.
I have a lot of glasses.
Right.
Like our first podcast, you actually could see my liquor shelf. It's full.
Yes.
It's full.
9,000 words was not enough for Master Raul. TWAB before last was a mega, ultra chonker. Even with thousands of words and the weapon changes coming in Season 17, questions still remain, and the team has been reading through the responses online. I wanted to answer a few questions as well as clear up a few bits of confusion. Global stuff. Flinch resistance. How does flinch resistance work? Flinch resistance directly scales the angle of your aim. The angle your aim moves when you take damage. So if you have 60% flinch resistance and you would normally be flinched 10 degrees, you would now be flinched 4 degrees. The flinch calculations show a 1 unflinching hand cannon mod and 2 unflinching pulse rifle mods, both total a 0.7 times flinch multiplier. What is the typo? Or was this a typo? Yes, this was a typo. Sorry about that. We fixed it. What is a scalar? When we say scalar, we mean the multiplier, e.g. a 0.65 times scalar on which the multiply flinch by 0.65. What are the scalars for some common flinch resistance sources? No distractions is 0.65 times. Suro synergy is 0.8 times. 1 unflinching mod is 0.75 times. 2 unflinching armor mods is 0.7. That's each one will be 0.7 at that point in time.
Right.
Rally barricade is 0.5 times. 10 resilience is 0.9. 100 stability on an auto rifle is 0.75. 100 stability on a sniper rifle is going to be 0.9. So just to give you some ideas there. Running resilience is going to be supremely important now if you don't want to be flinched.
And this definitely takes place in PvP.
Yes.
This is not...
Yeah.
I mean, if you're sniping in PvE, sure. But this has its main relevance in PvP.
Yeah, if you're trying to like do like DPS with a sniper or something like that, and you're getting flinched, that this might be a viable thing. But overall, this is going to be, like he said, more of a PvP change, and this is going to be huge. So 10 resilience is going to be a 0.9 times multiplier. That's huge. That is your best way to get flinch resistance, is to run 10 resilience, and also, like he mentioned before, 100 stability on like special weapons is a 0.9. 100 stability on regular weapons is a 0.75 times. And then, of course, you can add your mods to that and stuff like that. So very cool. I'm super stoked to see this happen, because stability actually matters on a gun now, and resilience actually matters on your armor. So
right. It's not just like, oh, I'll take it up to 5, and then maybe I won't get one shot by a sniper rifle.
Right.
Wrong. Yeah, no, actually, and they were kind of leaning towards this. They wanted to make that stat a bit more viable when they changed over how the Titan bubble works and how the Warlock Well of Radiance works. Those now require resilience to build up how tough they are.
Yep.
Titan bubbles can be now burned through much faster unless you have high resilience. And then the Dawnblade sword for the Well of Radiance can actually take damage, and the higher resilience you have, the more HP it has. So
it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. The last thing...
Again...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
we're leaning more into that... we're leaning more into, like, the mini stats really do matter. And this is definitely the essence of an RPG. Being more transparent about how, like, the small things are going to start stacking. These are things you consider when you go into dungeons and WoW or... any of those other, like, Elder Scrolls Online. These are things you have to sit down and, like, work out with your team. Like, who's running this? Who's running that? Yeah. So these are all things that actually matter and can make a huge difference. And it's nice to see, again, we've talked about this before, Destiny finding their identity through all of this.
Finally,
so,
The last note that they say about it is just, given the importance of stability and flinch resistance, do you plan on just to adjust the stability stats for any weapons? And they say, we may adjust stability on specific weapons if we see clear outliers in the future. And And you'll definitely see some outliers early on. I think you're going to definitely see this as an issue with linear fusion rifles. Your special ones specifically, Arbalist and Lawrence Driver, they already seems like they take no flinch, and this is only going to help that if that's the case. So it'll be interesting to see. And then the next one that is a new stat that is again, it's a PvP stat. You know, it's Airborne Effectiveness. This isn't something you care about inside of raids or anything like that, like in-game content. This is just PvP.
Unless they start building new encounters where you literally have to float or jump to shoot, and you have to land shots.
That's true. That's true.
That would be a nightmare for raids. Like, to open up doors, you have to jump and land like 3 shots.
Oof. Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, that would suck. I could see that in a dungeon, honestly.
Yeah, dungeons
as something like
or
funhouse dungeon.
You said it, like a raid, like a jump puzzle or something like.
Yeah, something off the wall, but I could see them try to implement this stuff because you have to know, like, these settings and these changes are definitely more geared towards PvP. But if you're putting this in the game, why not spread it all around? I guess. And I feel like they're going to try to do that for a little bit, and they're going to find out it doesn't work, and they're going to stay in their lane and just keep that to PvP.
Yeah, we'll see.
So,
can an Airborne Effectiveness penalty take you below 0 in a stat? No. Airborne Effectiveness stat cannot go below 0 or above 100. The tiers in the Megatwab were just general examples of performance within ranges. Every point in the weapon stat will count, although a single point won't typically be perceptible. In most cases, there's a linear progression from 0 to 100 stat, an exception being accuracy penalty angle on primary weapons, which is a linear from 0 to 60, but is a flat 0 from 60 to 100. That's interesting. How does Airborne Effectiveness interact with accuracy perks? Technically, accuracy perks like opening shot apply to your airborne accuracy cone as before, but because accuracy while airborne is generally better than it was before, you'll feel the benefits a little less. That's fair. Can you clarify precision aim assist? When grounded and aiming down sights, the full aim assist cone angle is used to determine whether a shot is a crit or a body shot. When airborne or hip firing, by default, you only get a crit if you're aimed exactly at the head. While airborne, the Airborne Effectiveness stat grants you some forgiveness for this and in the form of a precision aim cone. We have a graphic to help illustrate all of this, and it kind of shows you what you're looking at here. Let's see here. 1, grounded, crit. Your aim assistant cone overlaps the head, but you're not aimed right at it. You get a crit. So this is like if you're just if you're not ADSing your weapon and you're on the ground. Number 2, 0 stat body shot. Your aim assist cone overlaps the head, but the center of the reticle is not on the head. You get a body shot. 3, airborne, 60 stat, body shot. Your aim assist cone overlaps the head. Your precision aim cone does not overlap the head. You get a body shot. And then 4, 60 stat, crit. Your aim assist cone overlaps the head. Your precision aim cone overlaps the head. You get a crit. So.
Yeah, they're really trying to take out the nonsense of you see someone bunny hopping around and just one-shot blasting you from across the map. With these changes in mind, this is going to make PvP a lot more
user-friendly for most people.
I would say user-friendly, but even like just new player-friendly. Like we're talking like new lights who are getting bodied by people like yourself. Not that you personally go body, new lights, but people of your skill level who don't have anything better to do are just bullying people who maybe just have going in there to get their pinnacles for the week.
Right.
Having stats like this really helps balance that out, and we're going to see a meta shakeup because of this. There's no question about it. No and doubt. We're going to see new weapons roll in with better stat perks for all of this, and they're going to. This is honestly shaking up their entire PvP sandbox. Yeah. And I definitely think it's for the better. They're establishing like, here are other fundamentals to then build upon. Having flinch resistance, accuracy debuffs. Airborne accuracy, these are all things to be taken into account behind the scenes that they've been doing it for years. Now they're giving it to the player, like, listen, you want to be even more OP or find some more balance? Figure out all of this mess and become more of an established PvP player. So
100%. Skipping ahead to the next tab, can you give more details on how aim assist is affected while airborne? And so they break it down. The term aim assist has 2 parts. Auto aim, aka bullet bending, bullet magnetism angle. If a target falls inside this cone, your projectile will aim at the target before the effect of the accuracy cone. This applies equally on M&K and controller. Reticle friction and adhesion. Friction slows down your aim when a target is within this cone, and adhesion can pull your aim to stay on the target if they move while you're aiming. This only turned on for controller. What that means is if you're putting any amount of pressure on your aiming stick, this is how good snipers are good. If they have any amount of pressure on their stick, whenever somebody moves in front of them, it will automatically drag their crosshairs with that person. And if you're aiming at like generally in the area where the head is going to be, as soon as it snaps to that person, you pull the trigger, you get the headshot. That's what it's talking about, the reticle friction and adhesion. You can there's videos out there, sniping videos that show you like exactly how this is done. Guys out there that have put like 2 cameras, or they have like your gameplay and then they have a camera on the controller to kind of show you what they do, and it's legitimately just putting any amount of pressure on your controller. It doesn't have to be much at all. Just start moving your reticle just a little bit, and as soon as somebody moves in front of you, it grabs. So it's interesting, and it's nice that they mentioned that this is actually like the second part of aim assist. So aim assist isn't just bullet magnetism; it also has to do with that your reticle friction. So
Right.
In the live game, both angles are halved while airborne. In Season 17, these cones are still halved as before and have an additional penalty angle that's subtracted from this. Depending on the airborne effectiveness stat, here are some numbers. 0 stat. Auto-aim angle penalty is roughly half of the cone angle. Friction and adhesion angle penalty is roughly a quarter of the cone angle. In internal play tests, we found the controller players were more affected by this penalty and halved it. 100 stat. Both cones. Angle penalty is 0, i.e. at 100, the auto aim and friction cones are on most weapons will be the same as they are in the live game. So, your airborne effectiveness stat will actually be quite important if you are, if you're not used to being like a precision, like weapons, I would say specialist, using snipers, bows, hand cannons. If you don't really use those often, you probably won't notice much of a change. But if you kind of stick to like auto rifles, pulse rifles, SMGs, stuff like that, sidearms even, then you're probably relatively going to be okay. For some people like me, some other people out there, this is going to be a bit of a learning curve, I think. And have to build weapons for that new stat, so that'll be interesting.
Right. And additionally, like you just said, building weapons with those stats, we're gonna probably start seeing better options and different perks to specifically build a weapon for airborne effectiveness.
Well, we know like air assault's coming back. We know that already.
Yeah, and we're honestly, so like Legend was saying, you're really only gonna ever see this if you're using precision things, and you're really only gonna see this if you're playing PvP. But for the people who are using these tactics now, it's, aside from the complication of like setting up your controller and actually being able to hit those sniping lanes,
right,
this system in place that Legend described a minute ago is relatively simple. To you have to know where the headshots are coming from, and you can line up your shots. Very easy. They're taking that into consideration with this, like, hey, listen, you want to go back to that? Well, we're shaking that up completely. Now you actually have to build craft to commit to being able to do that. That's not something you just, oh, you know what, for this round I'm gonna just pwn on some kids, let me swap this one weapon over. It's like, no,
right, no, you're gonna have to change your like mods and stuff too,
your armor set, your weapon, everything. You're gonna have to full commit to sniping that for that round. And I feel like that at least in my opinion, that maybe helps balance the playing field. You're not gonna just get dicked over by a sniper across the way and then you flank him, kill him, and then he's gonna swap to an SMG and just wreck your day again. So I like these changes, honestly.
Yeah, for real.
And I like that they're addressing the concerns the players are having about this.
I'll give you something else now that's going to be another to make the game user friendly for new people, especially. The Scavenger perk changes that are coming have me so happy. Scavenger perk changes are all Scavenger mods disabled in PvP or only special weapon Scavenger mods. All are disabled now.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and this is they mentioned some things in here, and I'm kind of curious as to how some of this works, because you don't pick up primary ammo bricks in the game anymore.
Not anymore.
Not in PvP, so it was an interesting question. With disabling ammo scavenger mods in PvP, are you trying to bring back the double primary meta? I got bad news for y'all. I've been running double primaries this whole time. Y'all just didn't even know. No, we don't want running double primaries to be more viable, and we want there to be fewer one-hit kills in the PvP, but don't want to eliminate them entirely. You still spawn with 2 rounds of special ammo or equivalent and still pick up ammo bricks, but you shouldn't be able to use special ammo like a primary. One interesting side effect may be an indirect buff to the strategy of running double primary to starve your opponents of special ammo drops, and that is a huge strategy, especially in trials and stuff.
Which we're probably going to see the double primary meta come back.
Yeah.
Like what he just said right there, that literally is a viable strategy. Because I don't really flip to a secondary. I don't flip to a shotgun. I don't flip to a sniper rifle. I don't really use fusion rifles. Like, there's no need at that point to do that. But Bloodbane said, I'll log on to Destiny just to help out the warlocks so the hunters lose if I have to. Thank you.
Hold on, you'll get on to do that, but you won't help me run GMs. I love you.
Yeah, see,
I love you.
Blood. Honestly, Blood. You should hop on later because we're gonna run a raid, and we would love
There
to have the
you
old
go.
fire team back
There
together.
it is. Are the special ammo weapon effectiveness and ammo changes enough to reduce their domination in PvP? Short range primary weapons will have more of a role now. Sidearms and SMGs can better compete with shotguns, for example.
Thank God.
And this is, I was playing earlier, and I got that new, I was telling Sam about it before we started. I got that Perseus D scout rifle with rapid hit and opening shot. Phenomenal. It's a high impact scout rifle, so at 3 taps to the head, no problem. Slap a full auto mod on it. It's so much fun. And I'm pairing that with the new redback sidearm with a full auto mod on it, and it's amazing. And basically, you have to learn how to play your ranges at that point in time. Because shotguns have been nerfed in such a way in the past several seasons that the one-hit kill range is really close for shotguns. But for a sidearm, being able to melt somebody pretty quick, within that range is, pretty easy. Same goes for SMGs. So this excites me greatly. I really can't begin to tell you. Yeah, double.
It gives more viability to a lot more weapons.
Yeah,
because you're no longer like hiding from corner campers with shotguns, or that one guy who dodges, goes invisible, where Chaperone rolls and then 360 no scopes you and just keeps saucing on you. Like, why are you still playing this game? Clearly you've won. Just stop.
Clearly you've won. Yeah. So, are the special ammo weapon effectiveness and ammo changes enough to reduce their dominance in PvP? We already did that. We've pushed the current PvP ammo system as far as we can with this change. If this doesn't move the needle, we'll look into redesigning PvP ammo economy entirely, which would be a long-term change. With scavenger mods disabled in PvP, there's little competition for leg mod slots. What's the plans? We're keeping this in mind for future updates, but for now, we recommend you run holster mods. Yeah, holster mods. Honestly, it just means that your boots are going to be a great place to put an intellect or a recovery mod, or even I'll give you a better one here. If you're running a pair of arc boots, you don't have to have a special ammo scavenger on. Use quick charge. Quick charge is it costs 5 to use. You can pair that with an intellect mod, and it increases the ready and stow speed for shotguns and fusion rifles. Basically giving you old school quick draw. So that's just a little pointer for you guys.
Yeah, or use powerful friends and be able to move faster.
Yeah, that too. That's a 4 mod, gives you 20. So long as you're running another arc mod, gives you plus 20 to your mobility right off the rip.
Yeah. But again, this also plays into you having 2 primaries. You can run an auto rifle in one hand and a pistol in the other, because the swap speed is faster for pistols.
Yeah.
And you blow out the magazine on the auto rifle, flip to your sidearm, flip back, partial magazine in your auto rifle, and then you feel some synergy there. Like there's there's some actual strategy between you and the boots. It's there's a lot to play around with here, which is very exciting.
Yeah, it really is. Other changes will playlist weapons that have a foundry get both a foundry and a playlist origin perk. Yes, new drops of playlist weapons that are from the foundry will get the playlist and the foundry perks. What do the changes to snapshot sights mean? This is a big one. Snapshot sights work by multiplying the ADS animation duration by 0.5, which you could frame as making it twice as fast. On special weapons, it will now scale this duration by 0.75, making it 50% faster instead. Now that we framed this as being completely offset by the sniper rifle ADS duration changes, this was incorrect. While sniper rifles will be snappier across the board, a sniper rifle with snapshot sights will be a little slower to ADS than before. So, basically, right now, it basically doubles your ADS speed. Okay, that's what snapshot does. Basically, what they're doing is they're making it change to where it works alongside your ADS scaler that's like already built into the gun, basically to just give it a 50% faster instead. It doesn't mean that it's doubling it, because something times 2 is doubled, right? This is going to be a 0.5 increase instead. So it's
you're gonna feel a difference.
You're gonna feel the difference, 100%. I consider myself a sniper rifle connoisseur, and Snapshot feels like it is a must. This is something they mentioned a couple of weeks ago in that Mega TWAB. They said that. They said sniper rifles feel like they have to have Snapshot on them, so we're adjusting the snappiness. So basically, they're all together, in general, they're going to be snappier, but if it has Snapshot on, it's not going to be as snappy as it was before. And I saw somebody on Twitter, I won't say who, a friend of mine on Twitter, they were talking about had a new role for a sniper rifle, and they were like, yeah, I'm going to use this next season, since, Snapshot's getting nerfed. My comment is, it's still going to be better than not having it.
Right.
It's still going to be snappier than not having it. So I don't really see what the argument is there.
Sure.
It's like...
Well, I guess the argument there is, if you are sniping against someone who doesn't have Snapshot sights, you're going to beat them to the draw.
Yeah, 100%.
But people who aren't sniping, that are just running to those lanes, with no contest, yes, you are still going to be able to out-snipe people who aren't sniping. But somebody who has that sniper rifle with Snapshot, you're just a couple seconds behind them.
Yeah.
But that being said, with all these new perks rolling out, it makes sense that they're making sniper rifles a bit more snappy. That effect is also going to take place in PvE.
Yeah.
Sniper rifles have been a viable option for DPS in the past, and honestly, that could be nice.
And you don't really you don't run Snapshot in PvP or PvE, so having them come up a little bit is going to be nice. And
yeah,
I want to mention this because this is very similar to what they did a long time ago at this point to Quick Draw. So back in the day, Quick Draw, immediately after activating Quick Draw, after swapping to a weapon with Quick Draw on it, it also increased the handling of that weapon and the snappiness of it. And they basically nerfed that to make it to where, no, all it does is draw the weapon faster. And everybody commented back then, oh, that makes Quick Draw totally useless. No, not really. Not really. The thing is if I'm, maybe I'm not swapping to my shotgun as fast, or maybe ADSing with it as fast after drawing it as I used to, I'm still drawing it faster. If I'm, using a hand cannon and a shotgun against another person with a hand cannon and a shotgun, mine has Quick Draw and theirs doesn't, chances are I'm still going to get that shot off faster than they are. So,
and that's really all it's about. It's about trades. Yeah. And again, you're looking at, these are viable options for endgame PvP. These changes and these things are being made for players like Legend, people who play Trials, and again, they're establishing their identity when it comes to building out PvP. These changes are very necessary if you're going to have longevity for the game. We're seeing the building blocks being put down, and like, hey, these are some solid changes, and they can then build off of them, and they can change them once they're put in place. Showing us numbers like this, they can tweak the numbers very, very quickly and very easily, and they can really throttle that in instead of being like, oh, we've nerfed this. Well, hearing the word nerf immediately makes me sad and upset. Seeing a weapon lose 0.2% of its snapshot race, being able to pull it up fast, like, I don't care.
Right.
You say it's a nerf, like, oh, I'm personally attacked by this. No, 0.2%, okay, you can do that. That's fine. Kind of softens the blow.
A little bit. This next one excites me, Sam.
Yes.
Does we're on weapon archetypes now. Sorry. Does the lightweight pulse rifle damage buff apply to the BXR battler pulse rifle? Yes. The lightweight pulse rifle buff applies to the BXR 55 battler and any exotic weapons that share this rate of fire. That makes me so happy. The BXR pulse rifle is really good. It's really good. Not PvP and PvE, honestly, as a solar pulse rifle. And the fact that it is going to get a bit of a damage buff, and it's not much. Again, it's not going to significantly help your TTK. It's just going to make the weapon more forgivable, and that's a good thing no matter how you slice it. So,
oh, for sure. Is
Retraced Path getting the trace rifle buff? Yes. are Slug Shotguns also getting the pellet shotgun nerf? Slug Shotties receive the damage fall off and aim assist fall off changes. Slug Shotguns don't have a spread angle, but are treated like special weapons and have an airborne accuracy penalty. So Slug Shotguns are going to have their own separate airborne effectiveness stat than regular shotguns. Than your spread shotguns. So while the damage fall off and the aim assist fall off is going to affect it the same way, the airborne assistance will not. Are there any changes to aggressive aka spread fusion rifles? No, they're not affected by any of the fusion rifle tuning. Do all SMGs benefit from the damage fall off increase? Yes. Do all SMGs with lower than 14 zoom now have 14? No. Only those listed in the TWAB have been raised to 14. What happened? I forgot they mentioned this. What happens to the full auto setting? We mentioned that this is coming in a season following the Witch Queen launch. It won't make it into season 17 or 18, and it's currently being targeted for season 19. That's a long ways out, but I'm fine with it. Basically, they back in season, I want to say, I guess 15. Back in season 15, we got the full auto retrofit mod to you can put on basically any of your
out rifles, sidearms, pulse rifles, anything that wasn't like a single slug or certain categories didn't make it.
It gives the weapon intrinsic full auto at that point in time. Really nice, really handy to have. And they mentioned when they did that this was something that they were actually targeting as a modifier in your settings, a toggle to be able to turn on and off. And they're doing this for people that have a hard time. I don't know what the word is for that. Basically, it's an accommodation for people that have a hard time, like, using their fingers that can't click the mouse or the button that fast. And so they mentioned that's what they want to do with it. So that is eventually going to be a mod. It's going to be very cool. And I can't wait, because as soon as that comes back, that means I can slap my counterbalance mod back on these weapons, my pulse rifles that I've been using it on. Be super nice. So season 19 is the target.
I would love to see the opposite of that. I want to see an auto rifle with a single shot.
Dude, I was saying for a long time they needed an auto rifle with a perk on it to basically, like, a perk that, like, how you hold the reload button to change the damage type or whatever. Hold the reload button to change it from full auto to semi-auto or whatever.
Single. Yeah. Give it more range, slower fire rate. That could then be something viable for Nightfalls.
That'd be great.
GMs.
That'd be so great. That'd be so great. Because you could have something to use at long range and something to use at close range. Oh, that'd be so great. Bungie, I know you're listening. This is basically something that I say every week now. I know you're watching.
Get on this. Please.
Make an exotic. An exotic.
If you have
time. No. Make it. All right, Sam. We pay them. Okay. Make this.
Listen, if they're gonna make our heart's desired exotics, I already said what I want. I want a
Kvastov.
Golden Age
Kvastov.
M4A1, yes, with a grenade launcher. I want Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie, and the damage I do charges a grenade, and the catalyst will give me osmosis for the grenade that I fire. I have all three of my grenade buffs on one gun. That's all I want.
And it to be an auto rifle. Preferably, for Sam's sake, a 450 auto rifle, please.
It's just the most beautiful thing ever.
You can name it. You can name it the Ringing Nail Driver.
Oh my god. Yes. And have it be made by the Black Armor.
There you
have
go.
It blessed by Ada 1 herself. Oh god.
You're welcome.
Moving on.
Are the numbers in the fusion rifle section correct? What does this mean for charge time Masterwork? Yes, to clarify a bit, these are how much the damage fall off near distance is reduced compared to the current 0 to 100 range. I.e., yes, the damage fall off for 0 range was reduced more than that of 100 range. Reduced damage fall off near distance: 2 meters, minus 2 meters at 0 range, minus 1.3 meters at 100 range. I.e., it's good to have a lot of range on your fusion rifles now. And they're doing that to help compete with basically having high stability on a fusion rifle, because, like, range makes a fusion rifle good, stability makes a fusion rifle great. That's the difference. That's the key. It's when you see people running under pressure, increases the stability. Tap the trigger, increases the stability. Particle repeater increases the stability. That's what you typically want to run. They're saying that range is going to be more important now than it previously was. So,
Right.
This is the damage per burst of the charge time masterwork on each subfamily compared to the base. High impacts. 325 at 330 base, precision 275 at 280 base, adaptive 265 at 270 base, and rapid fire 240 at 245 base. So that's interesting. Basically, it's just saying if you have the charge time masterwork on your weapon, there's a cost for fusion rifles. The faster it charges, the less damage that it does. And that's what this is showing you. Basically, if you have a fully masterworked, high-impact fusion rifle that usually does 330 damage base per burst, it's now going to do 325. And mind you, all of these stats that you're looking at right now, these are all still more than enough to one burst somebody within the intended range. So.
And again, it's just helpful to see the numbers.
Yes, it's good.
They're showing you all of this, so that way in the future, when they say we're making tweaks and adjustments, you can go back to these pages and be like, okay, so now we see the numbers are dropping by like what, 2 or 3, 5 to 10, 20. Well, like you can then gauge your level of panic. When your favorite gun gets nerfed.
For sure. And this is huge because I see content creators, probably namely like ASTRO, and I remember what the other one is. I'm just going to say like ASTRO. He does a lot of weapon testing whenever we have changes. And basically for him to figure out the damage numbers, he would have to go in with somebody and do the testing himself. This gives him a way to see exactly what the damage is supposed to be without having to go through and do all the grinding that it takes to do that. And, makes some lives a little bit easier. It's just good. The quality of life. And the transparency is great. So.
Yeah, very much so. That's what you want in a game like this.
Yes. Why are there no sidearm changes? And I'm just going to stop you and say, why? Do you not like good things? What? Whoever asked this question? We need to have a conversation. You know what? I've got nothing for you. Sidearms are a niche pick, but when used by players who favor them, they're extremely strong. You goddamn right they are. We want to see how the reduction in effective range on shotguns and fusion rifles affect their strength before making any changes, and may look at them in a future season. And this is... You can't just go and do a huge sweeping change to everything, right, all at once. Because we're just going to end up in the exact same boat that we're already in. Right now, we're in this boat where fusion rifles and shotguns are too effing strong. And, as they mentioned themselves earlier, this is going to bring back a double primary, not a meta, but it's going to make that a more viable option. Running sidearms to compete against these things is going to be huge. If you just nerf them now right off the rip, you're still going to have a problem with fusion rifles and shotguns. So
dropping everything down 3 levels is only going to make it still the same meta. You have to drop and raise, or drop and then keep the same. That's how you shake up a battlefield.
100%.
Clean up the sandbox. Titus says Draconis with Kickstart and heating up doesn't seem too bad now.
Oh, dude, no. No. And if you managed to pick up that roll that Xur sold a couple of weeks ago, Xur sold a high impact under pressure roll two or 3 weeks ago now, with a charge time masterwork. High impact fusion rifles, their time is coming down. Basically, if you have it masterworked right now, the charge time is 960. The base for those fusion rifles is going to be 960. So this will bring it down another 40 points to almost 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Not 9 seconds, I'm sorry, 0.9 seconds. 0.92 seconds is what the charge time is going to be. And Yeah, Heating Up Kickstart, great roll. And Iota is a great fusion rifle. High impacts are definitely going to be more viable now because you want something that can compete at that range. So I picked it up. I'm going to be using it for sure. Why? Oh no, the auto rifle changes is somewhat small. Will it do anything? Combined with the zoom scaler, the change is larger than it sounds, but we plan to look at primary weapon balancing, some more in Season 18, auto rifles included. I honestly, I want to see auto rifles come up. We did go through a bit of a meta there a few years ago now, where 600 RPM auto rifles were, God,
a glorious season it was.
Gnawing Hunger.
All you heard was the ringing sound of
Gnawing Hunger,
beautiful.
Suros Regime, Monte Carlo, yeah. And I think that was whenever Trials first came back and we had the Summoner. Yeah, dude.
Disgusting.
It's so disgusting, honestly. But I didn't mind that.
That was fun.
Dude, no. Oh my God, dude. Hard Light was broken because.
Right, so what's that map that's the big circle? Because then everyone just sat there and shot at the wall.
Luckily, that map is gone, and it needs to stay gone.
So funny. Yes, Gnawing Hunger and Hard Light Titus. That was where it was at.
I still have
a real issue with me in Trials. Yes.
I still have that Gnawing Hunger, by the way. It's got almost 2,000 kills on it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I do too. Nah, see, I liked Hard Light before it was, cool.
before it was cool.
Well, yeah, because
it was Void. You used it with Nezrex.
Void. It was Arc. It was Solar. I used it for raids and for GMs. Because you take that bad boy in. Oh yeah, Gnawing Hunger was great. But yeah, the bonus damage buff off the walls. But then I would use it for one. So I would do when you did Scourge of the Past on the. I think it was like the third encounter where you had to run around down underneath the ground to get like the different stuff. There was guys that would come in with different shields, but they always popped in the same spots. You could just shoot the wall, and your bullets would bounce all the way down the hallways. Mm. And it was so effective for ad clearing.
It did. You have to understand the way even ad clearing in PvP too. Okay, those ricocheted shots did two times more damage than a regular 600 RPM burst. So if you, dude, it was nothing. If you got tagged once by by one round that got ricocheted off of a wall, dude, you were hurting. Mm-hmm. It was good.
A heavy overflow rampage roll from the Season of Arrivals. Nice. On a Gnawing Hunger, that's a sick roll.
Mine is I want to say mine was in Moment Rampage. Yeah, good stuff, man. Why did the Summoner only come back for 2 seasons? Yeah, they mentioned this before. That's because they're refreshing stuff now. So they'll take a couple of weapons out and bring a couple of weapons back, and then bring a couple weapons out and bring a couple of them back. But you can bet that Trials weapons will have a 2-season shelf life whenever you get it before being brought back or maybe not brought back. I could imagine.
We're also looking at.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say I could imagine that after the Summoner leaves this time, it might be gone. But that's not to say they won't bring another Trials auto rifle. Again, we have the Summoner. That's it. It's a 600 RPM solar auto rifle. We still have 3 other RPMs. We have kinetic, arc, void. We have all this stuff. There's plenty of stuff they can do. The Summoner's great. Don't get me wrong. I just grinded today. I did solo Trials. I got a Perpetual Motion Rampage roll with high cal rounds, hammer forged rifling, range masterwork. I'm so stoked to take that into the Crucible. But yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. We know that they have to take out some things to make room for new things, and I'm fine with that.
Right. And you also have to take into consideration they're removing things from playlists now to rework them, give them new perks, give them so if you keep putting in the same weapon, right?
Yep.
Back into the same loot pool with the same rolls, there is no incentive to go get a new adapted version of that same gun. Mm-hmm. Like if Legend just pulled his God roll today, you know, in 2 seasons when it comes back, if it has the same roles, there is no reason for Legend to run and try to get it again.
100%.
But if it has new perks, new unique roles, that's reason for him to get back in there, you know, settle back down into the Trials waters and really hurt himself to play Trials.
You know, we were talking about the snipers earlier, you know, and Snapshot being, you know, taken away. You know, that would lead me to believe that, you know, maybe Bungie's, we get new perks every season now. That's important to
refreshing
remember.
loopholes.
Yeah,
yeah,
we get new perks every season. Before, we got them maybe once or twice a year. Now we're getting them like 4 times a year, new perks. Maybe we'll see something new to compete with Snapshot sites. You know, maybe we'll see something that'll work better with auto rifles in the future. But I did want to make a note. This mentions here, and it's something I didn't think about. Yes, every season we're getting a brand new Trials weapon along with a reissued one. Brand new is good.
Always.
That's real good. And so that means that what we're looking at right now, the Summoner, we've had it before. Now it's come back, and it's great. Don't get me wrong. We'll have it this season, and next season there's plenty of chances to grind you a roll.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That it says, from the hard light, the bounce shots could also headshot, which is disgusting because
So
it could
nasty.
almost one-shot you.
So
He says, I have an overflow rampage roll on the Summoner from when Trials first came back.
I haven't
really want another one.
I,
Elemental capacitor is good. Snapshot sight, subsistence along with fluted barrel. Yeah, that is good. But see, that's just it. Like, you already have some really great rolls. There is no reason to go farm for another one. So you're going to lose out on a player base who regularly comes back for things. But if the adapt weapon is only going to be Summoner or Shaira's or Eye of Soul with the rolls that you already have, or you've already got that God roll, there's no reason to keep coming back. Doing this now enables them to pull out old stuff, rework the perk pearl, change up a few things, and then re-enter it back into the system.
right.
It's honestly a good idea, considering this is the only end game PvP kind of content.
Yeah.
Keeping that loophole fresh is what's going to keep their players coming back.
Titus, I too actually, back whenever they first introduced adept weapons, I managed to pull an adept summoner with overflow rampage extended mag. Super disgusting in PvE. Anytime I need a solar auto rifle for something, that thing gets pulled out and used. So, moving on, trace rifles and machine guns are both getting buffed. Does this suggest future anti-champion mods? No comment. I.e., yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, I can see Overload or Unstoppable for heavy machine guns.
I don't have machine guns ever been an anti-champion mod before?
Nope.
No, this is a first. This is,
And
dude.
so here's the thing: they better fix the ammo economy. If you're going to make a heavy weapon,
yeah,
a Unstoppable or Overload answer, it better not be the only answer, and the ammo better be good.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, if it's Overload or anti-barrier LMG, Xenophage will probably one shot
For sure.
to stun. That could be huge.
That'd be awesome.
Exotic weapons. Is Vexsmith the class diffusion rifle when it comes to airborne effectiveness, and what is its stat? It's actually a very important question. I'm glad they touched on this. Vex's airborne effectiveness stat is 19 and is treated as an auto rifle for translating the stability stat into flinch resistance and how its airborne effectiveness stat is translated. So yes, auto rifle it is. How about
Also,
what? Go ahead.
I finally got a good shader. I got a new universal ornament for the Guardian games, and it actually looks good.
And it'll be the week of the.
Yes, for Bright Dust.
Yeah, be available. Hold on. Give me 1 second, and I will tell you. The week of the 17th, it will be available for 1,250 Bright Dust. So, save up.
But it says machine gun damage buffs might be the reason. They haven't mentioned ammo economy. If the thing dies, if things die faster, you need less ammo. Yes, but you also have to think, if you're using this to shut down champions, you're going to need more anyway. Because barriers and overloads are the most annoying things when it comes to getting back up randomly, especially if you have a stasis user on your team.
Yeah.
Throw a snowball on that bad boy, just constantly needs to be buffed out of when you're using overload. Other thing too, we talked about this last week when they mentioned that the ritual weapon next season is going to be an LMG. LMGs are great for ad clear.
Yes, they are.
It's wonderful. It is a terrible substitution for boss damage. You're not getting the numbers that you need to get unless it's exotic. Xenophage and what is that new one that just came out this season?
Grand
Overture.
The Cabal one.
Those two have great burst potential and high damage output, but those are two exotics. You're giving up a special or even a primary exotic to make that happen. However, their place that they shine in the game is just ad clearing. So if you were to take away the need to ad clear from having a heavy machine gun, what's your damage output? Like what are you using to DPS boss? So you're looking at a sniper rifle, a shotgun, a GL, and your other two slots. So that's where I'm saying ammo economy is going to need to come into play here, because Xenophage, they nerfed how much you could carry. They also nerfed how fast it fired. Grand Overture was the same thing. They put so much restrictions on LMGs that's why I'm saying, like, if they don't fix that problem, or like fix damage output, like if it's more damage but less ammo, yes, I would save that for boss damage. If it's more ammo, same damage, I would then use that for ad clear, sniper rifle for boss damage. So it can find its niche. It just needs to have its identity.
I want to make a point for you guys. A note: if you have one, great. If you don't have one, I'm telling you now to go get one. If you got some spoils saved up, go hit up the Deepstone Crypt Raid and get you a commemoration. It's the Void LMG from that raid, and it can roll with Dragonfly, and it can also, I think the other slot can roll Feeding Frenzy and Reconstruction, where you can overflow the magazine. But Dragonfly, dude, next season, if we're going to have champion mods on it and you need something for ad clear, that's going to be a monster. Slap your Dragonfly spec on it, and it's going to be disgusting. So
just DACA till the ads are all done.
And what RPM is that? That's the same as Hammerhead, right? 450. That's the good one too.
Reconstruction Rampage. That's what I have on mine.
Reconstruction Rampage is good, but I think if you like overall ad clear, Rampages are going to be good for ad clear too. But Dragonfly is just going to have so much splash damage all over the place, because especially with a 450. That is one that is a really precision, really good for hitting those headshots. So just something to keep an eye out for. What about Wave Splitter? Hold on a sec. Wave Splitter's functionality changed late in development, and the TWAB description was not entirely accurate. Wave Splitter's variable damage while firing was not removed. This weapon's damage behaves identically to how it did before this release, i.e. it changes while firing. Changes to orb max charge time are still accurate and does suppress while the orb derived high power state. Again, still huge. Basically, if you pick up an orb and you're using Wave Splitter, it is going to be at its maximum damage output, and it's also going to be able to suppress targets. That's huge. Especially, they mentioned here, I'm going to throw this out there right now. They mentioned potentially trace rifles having champion mods next season. If we have anti-barrier, not anti-barrier, what's the other one? Anti-barrier even would be fine, but like with Divinity, it was Overload. If we have Overload trace rifle, this is going to be huge. I'm going to tell you why. You pick up an orb, you have Wave Splitter, and it can stun a champion. The other thing that this is going to do, this is going to suppress one of those
light bearers.
One of those. No, I'm talking about one of the champions, an Overload champion. Yeah. It's going to suppress the ones that like to the captains. The captains that like to teleport around. This is going to stop them from doing that, and the same goes for the barrier champions. It'll help kind of keep them to where like they don't start recovering their health so quick, or they pop the shield so fast. This is pretty big. Just again, something to keep an eye out for. I know I'm going off on a lot of tangents here.
Oh, that's good.
Is Risk Runner staying at 13 zoom? What about Osteo? Yes, it's a Risk Runner. Osteo Striga has a unique setup for damage and Amos's fall-off that is less affected by its zoom stat, but no, its zoom isn't changing. So Risk Runner is staying at 13. That's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's Risk Runner's still going to be a monster for ad clear.
Oh, for sure, especially next season.
Yes, yes. Is Lumina included in the damage buff reduction? Yes, Lumina Noble Rounds and Boost for the Assembler Seekers now also grant 15% damage in PvP, down from 20, but the original value 35 in PvE. So it's just in PvP. The PvE the PvE damage buff is going to remain 35%. This damage buff is also used by Sun Warrior, which is part of why Lorelei Splendor Helmet's so strong, but wasn't mentioned in the Mega Twop because of the issue being addressed in another way. So, that's good to know. Is Le Monarch affected by Necrotic Grip? Are you ready for this,
We had
Sam?
this conversation last week.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Le Monarch!
My answer is no.
Yeah, exactly. Le Monarch is not a weapon of sorrow and is not going to become one. And this was interesting because it says the only weapons that count as weapons of sorrow currently in the game are Thorn and Osteostriga. That kind of confuses me because I thought in the lore, Lumina and Malfeasance were also technically weapons of sorrow.
Correct. But
I guess they don't have that same effect, I guess.
yes, Lumina heals, and oh gosh, the other one is specifically for like the Taken and for Gambit. I mean, Taken and for Guardians.
Yeah.
The other two are just straight poison.
Okay.
Because they corrupt light.
Does Lawrence Driver's change also apply to Arbalest? No, but we'll be looking at both of these again in the future, and they're going to have to. Again, they're going to have to because the aim assist on linear fusion fusions is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Are Devil's Ruin and Fighting Lion being monitored for being unique for their own ammo economy while dancing with primary special line? We expect both of these to be stronger in Season 17 Weapon Sandbox, but not so strong that they'll be dominant. We do stand ready to make adjustments if needed, though they're both acquired tastes whose strengths can be exploited by every player. That's exactly right. I don't care for Fighting Lion. Devil's Ruin is great, though, because it gives you... Like, I love running sidearm in either Scout or sidearm and Sniper, and Devil's Ruin just gives you a little extra oomph.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
How does the Eyes of Tomorrow buff work? It's a straight up 1.3 times damage scalered on the current damage values against bosses and champions. Note that the Adaptive Ordnance perk does not expire, so you can potentially get a bunch of Eyes of Tomorrow kills, pick up more heavy ammo, and go into a boss fight with that damage buff. Just to clarify how this works a little more, every legendary weapon type and every exotic weapon can have its own custom scaler against each tier of enemy, e.g. minors, majors, champions, mini-bosses, bosses, and vehicles, which we touch occasionally if needed. Damage values versus players at the base number is in almost all cases. We typically scale the damage up or down in PvP as needed. So,
which, they're getting much better about specifically targeting PvP versus PvE, which I like instead of just blanket nerfs across the board. If something's performing too well in PvP, it doesn't actually affect us in PvE.
Exactly.
Titus said Lumina is a converted version of the original Thorn. IO, it is a weapon of light.
Lumina is a really cool weapon. It's got a really cool
a
story behind it. It synergizes really well with Warlocks, of course, with Boots of the Assembler. And just, it's really not a bad hand cannon, and it did get a little buff this past season, so... It got that. It got a range buff, so check it out. It's really cool. And I'm just gonna be real with you. To have a Warlock on your team running Boots and Lumina is really, really helpful. And you don't realize it until you have one there, or until you've been playing with one and he's gone. Because I'll be running into a gunfight and suddenly I'll get hit by a random noble round, and like that'll keep me alive, and also give me a little weapon buff. It's nice. It's nice. So, Pretty Borders. Previously on the TWAB, we spoke about some quality of life changes for weapon crafting. We've already increased the element caps from 250 to 1,000 and neutral element cap from 8,500 to 10,000. In Season 17, we're still planning to remove Ruinous, Adroit, Mutable, Drowned, and Energetic elements. Only neutral element will remain. One other feedback item we see cropping up a lot is the desire to masterwork your crafted weapons, if only to get those shiny gold borders that let you know that the weapon is special. Starting in Season 17, you will have the ability to achieve the masterwork look for your weapon To get your gold border on legendary crafted weapons, you will need to have an enhanced intrinsic perk and 2 enhanced trait perks. Crafted exotics will require the catalyst to be inserted. So, basically, the enhanced intrinsic perk, that's your Masterwork. That's the range or stability buff that you get. And then 2 enhanced traits. So not just one, you have to have 2 enhanced traits on it, and you'll get the gold, or get the gold border, get the Masterwork look. Yeah. So it's just a nice little quality of life change. And then lastly, they talk about what they did a vote for trials this week. I don't care for this. I voted for Vostok. I've played Trials on Altar of Flame a ton. I've never played Trials on Vostok before, but it is what it is. Yeah, so Altar of Flame won. Vostok came in second, and Fragment, well, I don't even know why they put that in there. Nobody likes that map. All the way down to the end here.
Lot to scroll through.
It has been a minute since I've been hands-on with the TWAB process, but I'm stepping in for DMG as he walks the earth. Glad I still remember how to do it. There are so many people who coordinate together to make these happen, and I'll always enjoy getting to watch it all come together. While I'm writing this before Guardian games have actually started, all that stuff on the top about Hunters winning the first few days was an assumption. Maybe I will update this before the TWAB goes out to reflect what actually happened. Maybe I won't. Past me is fickle and reckless. Future me is responsible and honorable. I wonder who won out in the end. Love, Cosmo. So,
yes.
That's your TWAB. Good one from Cosmo there. Yeah. I like Cosmo's stuff. He always kind of seems to be a little bit more eloquent in his wording and stuff. I mentioned before I got into Trials earlier today. Woke up this morning, had a doubleheader for one of my kids whose games were canceled last week with the rains that we had. So went to those, came home, hopped into Trials, saw there was nobody online, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's Labs week, so I'll do the solo. Hopped on and went flawless right off the rip. Didn't lose a single game. Played 7 in a row, won all 7. And I did it with a Sunshot and an Eye of Soul. An Adept Eye of Soul, but it was an Eye of Soul. And a Sunshot. Mm-hmm. It was great. Sunshot's really good right now. Only 150 hand cannon in the game right now. So
it's in a league of its own.
It is. It really is.
It broke the mold on the way out.
And I'm gonna tell you, it was so handy because it has those explosive rounds. It's basically got explosive payload. So what that means is, several times I would start shooting somebody, and they would run off and hide, and I would start shooting the ground or the wall around them or something like that, and I would prevent them from getting their health regen. So really handy, really nice. Let's see what Titus says here. Titus is talking to us.
Yes. Enhanced trial stuff ain't worth grind in my opinion. Until they change how much things cost.
Enhanced traits.
If they remove the stuff currently, it still seems like a hard grind for the payoff. Agreed. I personally, though, I grinded out the raid, and I got a submission that I could craft. I have enhanced perks on it. I can feel a difference. The gun is wonderful. I have overflow and frenzy on it. It's snappy, it's quick, all kinds of good stuff on it. I really, really like it. I can't wait to see more weapons enter this loot pool of being able to craft things. I would love to see in the future, when you can craft something, you get like 2 more unique perks. You feel me? Like, if you were to go get that weapon off in the world, sure, it'll have whatever perks, but then crafting it gives you 2 unique crafting perks.
Randomly roll with.
Exactly. To give you a reason to craft it.
Or even to give it to where you, whenever you have the enhanced intrinsic perk, which is your stability range or whatever, to give it more than +10, like a regular Masterwork does.
And it would really push the whole, get in there and try to craft stuff. And yes, I do think it's kind of, it is very grindy to get to that point.
Yeah.
You definitely need a lot of materials. And with next season coming, we're only going to need the 1 material, which is super nice. And I like that. I just hope that they convert all the other materials into the single material. So we'll see what happens. Enhanced autoloading seems like the only exception because of rockets. Yeah, I could see that.
My comments on it, I mean, it's they have to do it a very particular way because like they're already running into this issue with adept weapons, the master raid. Nobody wants to do. You know, they have this end game activity. It is the pinnacle end game activity, apart from like Nightfalls or whatever, but Grandmaster Nightfalls in particular. But nobody really wants to do them. Even if you go and you look up the numbers for Grandmasters, they're down compared to where they were last year. And, you know, it's because some of these other weapons in the game are just better. And I'm mentioning the Master Raid in particular because those are all weapons that can be crafted. Unlike the Trials weapons, unlike the Nightfall weapons. Those are all weapons that can already be crafted. And he says, I would be a fan of obtaining enhanced traits. It gives you an extra optional slot of a regular perk to have reduced vault bloat and gives some small utility. Yeah, no, that's true. After you fully craft a weapon, look, honestly, if you purchase the perks for the weapon, they should just be there. You can select them whenever you want. You know, that way you don't have to continuously go back and continue to recraft the thing. And I think that maybe that's something that they'll look to in the future. But for now, I think it is what it is. I think they're really cool. There is still just something really, really, really unique about getting a god roll weapon just out in the world. The raid grenade launcher. God, I got the ambitious assassin chain reaction roll, and it's a wave frame, dude. It's so good, and I got that without even like having to try. Like the gods just opened up the sky and laid it before me one day, and it's really cool. I've collected 5 of those red box, and I can go and craft one. I don't need to, because you're kind of right. There's not really a point to do that. The enhanced perks are kind of cool for sure, but there are some enhanced perks that make it worth it. You mentioned auto-loading holster. Auto-loading holster is great, and there's several more. They're also fixing some of them that need to be fixed. Enhanced threat detector being one. Enhanced field prep. They were kind of lacking. They didn't really do anything, so they pulled those off. They disabled them. They fixed them, and they put them back in, and now they're pretty viable. But
yeah,
being able to swap perks on the fly would be the ideal, but I have doubts they'll ever reach that point. I don't know.
I don't think we're gonna see that.
No, not maybe.
And
not
the reason for that is I feel like that's too busted. So the reason for like, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe, but only because
I was gonna back around, but
yeah, maybe I'm saying maybe just because in end game content it locks your loadouts and that also locks the weapon. You can't change the perks.
Right.
So, but I don't know. As you were, sorry.
So here's what I'm thinking. Right. I'm thinking, what if? So you're finishing up the weapon, put your master perks in, whatever you want to do. It's done. It's pretty much locked up. Then, once you've reached a certain tier, like let's say your weapon hits level 50.
Yeah.
You can then socket an extra first perk. And then you hit level 100 and you get a second perk. Kind of like how the guns we have today, where you can put, like, like how the ritual weapons are. Like, I want this instead of this. And you can just hit it real fast. Hit max rank on these weapons and be able to do 2. Have them already pre-built into there. So it's like, yes, I want this one. I want Rampage and I also want Frenzy. But they're both enhanced and they're on the weapon. You have to select one. So given the situation you're in, it's like, I'm going to go running into Grandmaster. Well, not going to be super into the fight. Let me put Rampage on.
Yeah.
I'm doing something easy. Let me throw on Frenzy. Play it to what you want to do. Gives that weapon a bit more customization. Really makes it your own. So that I could see being viable. I don't see having all of the perks on the weapon unlocked all the time.
Not all of them, but the way weapons are now, where you have 1 or 2 options, would be great.
That would be great.
And I think I'll end it just by saying this: weapon crafting is still very much in its infancy.
For sure, they're taking baby steps with all of this.
Yeah, they're baby steps, and that's how it needs to be. Because again, they could just open the floodgates on it and let us do what we want to with it. Then those weapons might actually be friggin' broken. And that's something you don't want. So I think it is important for them to take these baby steps, as we've mentioned before tonight and previous TWABs, they're being more transparent with us about this stuff. They're talking about these changes pretty early on. I'm excited about where weapon crafting is going to go. I haven't done too much with it yet, but what I have done is pretty cool. I crafted that pulse rifle, the one from the season, the rapid fire frame, and it's really good. I have both of the enhanced perks on it now: moving target and perpetual motion, I believe, with arrowhead break and high cal rounds. Thing is amazing. I think I need to rebuild it a bit for. I think I give it a range masterwork. I need to give it a stability masterwork instead. And I think it'll be good to go. But yeah. We are at 1 hour and 20 minutes.
That's a good place to wrap it up.
I think so.
Yeah, this was a good TWAB. This definitely wasn't as meaty as the last couple ones, but I think that's for the best. Kind of give us a little bit more of a breather. We are coming to the end of this current season. We've got about 2 weeks left as of next reset. I do think we're gonna get some more information here very soon about the new season. I'm very excited. Arc weapons and arc stuff gonna get a big enhancement. Would love to see what they're gonna do with Chaos Reach. That has been probably my biggest. Like, I cannot wait to see what they're gonna do with it. It was something that really got badly nerfed, and it's such a unique one, honestly. Between 2 sets of tickly fingers, you get to shoot a giant beam out of your hand. Like, I would like to see a aspect where you don't get to move. You have to plant your feet, and then you fire, and double the damage, but you're more exposed.
Right.
But as you're shooting it, you create like a cone shield for yourself that you take less damage from, but you're immobile. You can't move.
Calm down, Vegeta. All right. Final flash here. That's what you're talking about. That's all you want.
I am talking about that. Shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I have a funny clip to send you, actually. Playing Trials earlier. I need to go back and crop it. I saved all my Trials games, but I need to go back and crop this clip out. The game is tied 3-3. This is like game 4 or 5. We're tied 3-3. I just killed the other 2 guys on the team, and this other guy, this Warlock, runs around the corner. I know he's running Chaos Reach, right? And I know it's about to happen. Like, he hadn't got a super yet, but I know it's coming. Comes around the corner. I start shooting at him immediately. He jumps way up into the air because that's what you do when you're about to blast something. Yeah,
you do.
And he opens up, and I'm just unloading. We traded. It felt so good because, like, the game tied 3-3 still, but he wasted a super. This is so good. I'm going to finish up with what Titus said here. He said, I will say the crafting system has landed in a much better state than with the champions when they first arrived.
Agreed.
They did. Yeah, 100%. Champions were kind of busted at first. Is this Armor Lock 2.0? Good God. Yeah. I think we're gonna see some armor changes coming down the pipe too.
Yeah, I feel like after they get this, this was only the first real big season. We have 4 before the next expansion comes. I wouldn't be surprised that after we see the solar drop, we'll probably see like a nice armor shift and go from there.
Yeah, Titus, hey, you have a good one too, man.
Yeah,
thanks for stopping
absolutely.
by.
Absolutely, thank you. We always love the feedback. We love to chat alongside this stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna get off here, hang out with my wife and son, and then maybe we do that raid.
Dude, I'm down. I need to raid. Need to get me that last Insidious. So,
let's do it.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in. This was episode 12 of the Speaker Podcast. Yeah. Again, going strong, and we're gonna keep on going. It's been a weird season for me with PvP, just with kind of like the weird matchmaking stuff. So I haven't really been playing as much as I usually do. But that being said, I haven't been uploading as much like in-game content. I've been doing more newsy kind of stuff, and honestly, I like that. So I'm gonna keep doing some of that, and then get some more uploading. But I don't really have anything else this week. Still been watching Boruto with the wife. We're almost caught up with everything that is dubbed in English. And so Jackson, Big Jackson wants us to watch My Hero Academia. So
it's all right.
That's what I heard.
There's a lot of hype. It's good. but it's not. It doesn't quite meet the hype.
Right.
People are weird. They're all 15. Quit making weird art about them. Anyways, I'm Batsam, Legend of Xcalion, and we'll see you next time.
Later,
Peace.
guys.